Chris and Cameron with IPD, and today we're going to be working on an 850 Volvo wagon. Now this is your typical soccer mom car. This gets used on a daily basis. It gets kids packed into it, it runs errands, it hauls groceries, it does a lot of family trips. Now we're going to be talking about maintaining this car. When I talk about maintenance, it doesn't necessarily always mean tune-ups or engine parts or even suspension bits. Today we're going to talk about detailing your car and how to maintain the exterior so that way the car lasts a little bit longer and fights against rust and helps also the appearance a little bit as well. But also maintaining the exterior of your car helps the longevity of how long this car is going to last as well. And here I am with Cameron, and he's going to talk a little bit about some of the products we're going to use.
On the hood here you'll see a few things that we carry at IPD that are going to help with this process. All these are things that we've hand chosen over the years that we found work the best. We've tried hundreds of different things. These are the things we all use on our own cars, and so that's why we offer them. All these are available on our website and our catalog and everything. Now you look at this and it's quite a few things, and you might think that's a lot of money to invest in just cleaning the car. But look at it this way. You might have about $150 worth of product here, but taking the car to get it professionally detailed to get the same level of work done is going to cost you double that. And when you buy it yourself and have these products in your garage, you're going to be good to go for 3 or 4 more years at least. So you're saving money and you're doing it right and having the satisfaction of doing it yourself. Let's get to it.
Okay, the first step in our process today is going to be washing the car. So before we wax it, we're going to give it a good cleaning. So we're going to use a good wash and wax concentrate. A wash and wax concentrate is specifically designed for car paints, unlike dishwashing soap. I know it's easy just to grab some dishwashing soap, fill it in a bucket and go to town, but sometimes dishwashing soap can actually cut through any wax or polish residue that's left on the paint. We want to maintain that. This also helps with the wipe down process. So we're going to get going with this wash and wax concentrate today, and then we'll go from there.
Now that we've talked about washing, let's talk about the order we wash in and the tools we use along with that wash and wax concentrate. Anytime you wash the car, you want to use a good wash mitt designed for washing the car. Your dish towel at home might do okay, but it has the potential to scratch the surface. A good washcloth or wash mitt like this is going to make all the difference in the world in getting it clean, keeping your paint protected. Another important thing you need to talk about is starting from the top down. When you're washing the car, you don't want to just wash it all, get it all sudsy, the whole thing, and then rinse it. You want to do a panel at a time, especially if you're working in the sun. The soap's going to dry up on there, and if you get dried up soap, it's going to leave soap scum on there, it's going to leave little spots, and it's going to kind of eliminate the whole entire reason you wash the car. So you want to start from the top down. If you have a wagon, start on the roof, do the rear tailgate, do the glass. When you're doing that, pay attention to the details. Do things like lift up the wiper blade so you can get clean all the way under here. Start at the top, move to the bottom. It's a good rule of thumb anytime you're washing any car, Volvo or not. Now that we've washed the car, the last thing we're going to wash as a major component is going to be the wheels. The wheels either make or break your car if you're a wheel kind of guy like I am, so you want them to be their cleanest. They also happen to be one of the dirtiest parts on the car after you've been driving it. Brake dust accumulates and can be pretty corrosive, so you want to make sure that you use a good, fresh, clean wash rag when you're cleaning these and do them last so that you don't get all that brake dust and stuff on the wash mitt that then translates onto the rest of the car. So here we go.
Alrighty. Now that we've completely washed the car, we've got rid of any residue or deposits that were left, especially up under the cowl, inside the door jambs, on the rocker panels, the wheels, etc. We're going to dry the car the exact same way we washed it. We like to start with the top, work our way down. I personally like to start off with the windows because the windows tend to dry a little bit quicker, and it'll also help depleting some of the water spots that might get left over there once the car does dry. So I'll usually start with the glass, work my way around the vehicle, and then we'll go from there.
While Chris is drying the car, let's talk about another important thing that's often overlooked when people are washing and detailing their cars, and that is door jambs. Door jambs refers to anything that you see here when the doors are open. It's real easy for these to get all crapped up and get gunk all over them. That can cause wet spots, that can cause rust. Not only that, but it can also ruin the finish of the paint. So take a couple extra minutes with a nice clean rag. Don't use the same one that you just used to dry the car with or the one that you used to wash the car with. Just a wet rag works just fine, but use a clean one and just wipe it all down. Get in here and get all these spots. Get around behind the seals a little bit. Look, see things like this where there's a little bit of mold and junk there? Wipe all that off. You want to get all that stuff just nice and clean. Doesn't have to be perfect and waxed or anything, but nice and clean will make a big difference. Not only does it look better, it's better for the car. Get all the way down here, all this stuff. After you do those, trace it here as well. If you go down here on the doors, you'll see the same thing. These are the areas that are going to be also closed or also not visible when the doors are closed, but they get dirty too. Wipe those down, keep the paint here looking nice and clean, and the rest of the car will be happier.
While Cameron's working on all the door jambs, another note, on the wagon, It's especially nice when you clean all the door jamb material or interior pieces of the door or the rear tailgate for servicing items. You got a lot of bulbs back here, you got the third brake light, you got bulbs back here. We all know that tailgate struts go bad. It's a lot easier to work on your car when you do this once a year. A lot of this stuff gets built up over years or gets overlooked. A lot of grime gets built up. Again, like Cameron mentioned, it deteriorates the paint, can cause rusting issues, especially in some of the saltier climates of the country. But at the same time, we don't like things hanging out. So if you just give it a good wipe down, maybe once or twice a year, it'll definitely help the maintenance of the vehicle. And if you ever have to service anything back here or any of the access panels, it's gonna make it a lot cleaner for you or your mechanic to get in and out of those areas. All right, well, now that Cameron and I have finished washing the exterior of the vehicle, we're all nice and dirty. We're gonna clean up, and then we're gonna start working on the interior of the car. There's a lot of things we wanna cover about cleaning the inside of the car and why that's good to maintain the interior as well. But before we do that, we just wanna let you know, we're not gonna wax the car just yet. We're gonna work on the interior while the car's still outside and we have some space to work around it.
When we get into the interior, we're going to talk about things like vacuuming the carpet properly, getting under the seats, moving the seats forward and back to get everything as clean as possible. We'll also talk about a few protection items we offer for once you have it all clean, keep it dry, so you can maintain the freshness, the cleanness, the newness of everything on the inside of the car.
Alrighty, well, before we start detailing the inside of the car, I want to talk about shop vacs. Shop vacs are a great tool for cleaning the inside of your vehicle, especially if it hasn't been done in a while. If you don't have a shop vac, I definitely recommend looking around your local area. Sometimes spray and wash car washes, they might have a shop vac that you can use. Might cost you a few bucks, but it definitely comes in handy and helps get some of the grime and dirt out of the carpets and the floor mats. So what I'm gonna do before I actually start using this shop vac is I'm gonna go through the car, I'm gonna take out all the floor mats. This vehicle's got some IPD custom molded floor mats. We'll go more into that in detail here in a little bit. But for the front, before I start vacuuming up the front, I'm gonna move the front seats all the way back. So that way it's gonna help me get underneath the seats and around where the brackets bolt to the floor. And then when I'm done doing the front, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna move the seats fully forward, get in the back where the footwells are, and I'm also gonna do the rear cargo area. But before I even get started vacuuming, I'm gonna take all the floor mats and carpet mats completely out of the car.
While Chris is doing that, I'm going to talk to you about cleaning the glass. We washed the outside of the car, got the glass all nice and clean there, but another important thing to do when you're cleaning the car and detailing it is cleaning the glass on the inside. Handprints, dog nose prints, all those things will all stick on here, and you might not even see that they're there until you're driving into the sun and you all of a sudden have a blind spot from a greasy dog nose print. A good product that we like is this. It's called Invisible Glass. Real easy application. We've got it either this way in a spray bottle or an aerosol can. It works just like any other glass cleaner. Spray it on, wipe it off, comes out nice and clean, streak-free.
Ready. Now that I've got all the floor mats removed, the floor mats, the carpet mats, and the plastic molded mats out of the vehicle, I'm going to go ahead and start vacuuming the front. I'm going to use an assortment of different attachments to help get me inside the vehicle, in between the seats, the center console, and various components like the vents, the dash cover, all sorts of things inside the car. I am going to note that be careful that when you use plastic attachments, not to push too hard on the seats, because sometimes shop vac attachments can scratch the leather. So just keep that in mind, don't push too hard. Sometimes if you got a lot of crumbs or crust that's built up inside the lines of the seats, it's easier to use a wet towel to get those out first, and then you could soak those up with a softer brush. So I'm gonna get going on the front, work my way all the way to the back cargo area, and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm still vacuuming out the interior of the car. I just finished with the front. I moved the front seat all the way forward, and I got the floorboards behind the seat. One thing that most people overlook is the back seat right here flips up. I like to think about getting underneath the seat. Now, especially if you have kids, they tend to hide things in there. There's toys, all sorts of wrappers. If you let your kids eat in the car, cookie crumbs, all sorts of crackers can end up underneath there. That attracts all sorts of unwanted mice or things that might want to crawl into your car and get that stuff, especially if you park outside. So it's not a bad idea to flip the seat up once in a while and go ahead and vacuum that out and get all the garbage and crud that might fall between the seats that tends to live in there longer than what we would anticipate. So I'm going to go ahead and start vacuuming underneath the seats here in the back. Alrighty, now that I vacuumed out the front, I moved all the way to the back of the cargo area. This being a wagon, it's a very versatile vehicle. People usually load either a furry dog into the back. Dog hair can actually stick to the carpet areas here on the back tailgate. But what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and vacuum around all the little nooks and crannies. The cargo area's got a few compartments that lift up for the rear tire or for the spare tire. Also, this one's got a third row seat. I'm going to lift up all these compartments and vacuum up underneath every one of them, because I guarantee you dirt and particles do like to find their way into all these little tiny compartments that people often overlook. Alright, well, now that the whole interior of the car has been vacuumed out, every nook and cranny is completely clean as far as a vacuum goes. Now it's time to clean the carpet. Now, if ordinary warm water and soap won't scrub out the stains that you might find in your carpet, we recommend using a stoner product called Zenit. It's all natural, it uses citrus, It actually smells pretty good too, but it definitely helps lift out some of those tough stains. I'm gonna use a regular scrub brush, spritz down the carpet and go over with a scrub brush, and it's gonna come out looking pretty good. We just got done scrubbing all the carpet materials inside the car. Now before we put our floor mats back in, we can't forget about cleaning those either. As you can see, these have done a pretty good job at keeping some of the debris out of the vehicle. But first I'm gonna vacuum up these carpet floor mats. These came as an accessory and came factory in the car as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to vacuum them up. I'm going to use that citrus cleaner. I'm going to scrub them down before I toss them back in the vehicle.
And for the plastic floor mats that we have to keep everything protected, we can just simply wash those with the hose and wash mitt. If you got any tough spots, use a scrub brush on that too. These are just easy peasy. Wash them up, let them dry in the sun. Now that we've got the carpets all cleaned and nice and vacuumed, we're going to start working on all of the interior trim. Most of these cars are going to have a lot of leather and a lot of plastic and a lot of rubber, vinyl, things like that on the inside of them. Specifically on anything like this, dashboard, glove box, door panels, that's plastic or vinyl, we use this. It's called Magic Dressing by Automagic. Another great product from a great company, works great. Revitalizes, refinishes, renews, and protects all the stuff. You can use it on the outside of the car if you want to as well. Works great on tires, works great on exterior trim, window seals, any of that stuff.
All right, well last but not least, it's time to clean the leather. Now it's time to pull out the big guns with Lexol leather treatment. We got the Lexol leather cleaner and the conditioner. This stuff's great. You use applicator pads or you can use a common hand towel. Right here works great. You just rub it on, take it off. Lexol also has a couple other products that work really good for on-the-go type uses. They got wipes, so like if you're on the road and you don't want to store these in your car, they have a little bottle of wipes that help clean up those quick common messes that may occur on the leather.
Alright, now that we got the car all clean on the inside and detailed and done on the inside and clean and washed on the outside, we're going to work on some of the final details. Those include things like getting rid of some of this oxidation and turning this pink paint back to a nice vibrant red. We'll show you some of the products we use along the way for that, as well as some of the other final details like shining up the tires and fixing this gray trim and turning it back to black. Alright, as Cameron mentioned, we're all finished with the car. We're going to head inside under some cover. When you wax a vehicle, all the waxes will actually have a cautionary label on them saying you don't want to wax a car in direct sunlight. The sun can actually bake the wax on the paint and in some cases stain the paint. So what we're going to do is we're going to go find some cover inside the shop and wax the car underneath some shady area. Now, if you actually don't have a garage or somewhere to wax your car, do it underneath the parking garage or find a nice shaded area where you're not in direct sunlight when you begin waxing the vehicle.